Everyone, it's Alan Thornton here, President and CEO of St. John's Community Services, with our continuing video series, Champions in the Crisis. And I'm really pleased to have Steve Sims, our Director of Nursing, joining us today. Steve has a massively heroic job. They are hidden healthcare workers that are in the field of St. John's, making sure that the people we support, many that have very high critical needs, that they are as safe as possible. So Steve, thank you for taking the time. I know you are super busy, so busy that I'm anticipating you're probably gonna get a bunch of like push notifications throughout the course of this time from people trying to get a hold of you, but thank you for making time to join us.
No problem, no problem.
So Steve, a little bit about what you do and a little bit about like as in your role of Director of Nursing, as well as your team, the nursing team that you have, how many, and what do you do on a daily basis, especially now in the midst of COVID?
Oh, well, on a daily basis, it's almost like blood, sweat, and tears. But we're, I don't want to say having a good time, but we're experiencing new challenges that we're learning to work through on a daily basis. Right now, almost every day I'm in touch with Department of Health, checking in, see what's the new statuses for people with COVID, what's the new things that they're doing for people with COVID, and what are some of the things that they're offering. Like I found out the other day, DC is offering people who are quarantining at home, they're giving out food to the staff and also the people who are quarantined. Medical, they're doing drug delivery if needed, also giving out personal equipment. So it's a good way. It's challenging, or I want to not challenging, but it was difficult that, we have to go through this to learn about some of the services. Even us in St. John's or everybody around, we have all this electronical technology, and it took us something like this for us to really put it into use. So.
Right. I mean, and you're literally, you have a team of nurses that work with you on a daily basis, and you're providing support right now specifically to all of the folks we support that are in residential services, right? So that's a number of people just in the DC area alone. And it can give you an idea how many people roughly you're supporting, and some of those are various degrees of risk, right? So you've got some that are more medically fragile. Can you speak to that for a minute?
So we have about 70 people in residential. I think our oldest person is 87. And then we have a couple of medically fragile homes that we've kind of quarantined already to keep them safe as much as possible, and, cutting down the staff going in and out. And like you said earlier, we're about to go on lockdown 100% in DC. So that's already becoming a challenge, but I thank goodness that the staff have stepped up to stay with the folks because they know how important it is. And thank goodness St. John's has always been like a family. So the nurses, the DSPs, they've all been a big help to kind of help alleviate and make sure that our folks are getting the best care possible.
And just for people that might be watching, DSPs are direct support professionals. So these are individuals that are highly trained, because so many people that we serve do have acute medical conditions and needs with their intellectual and developmental disabilities. So they're highly trained professionals that provide the day-to-day, hour-to-hour direct support. And then Steve, your team comes in and supports them on the medical side of things, providing for guidance and as well as like procedures and things like that in order to make sure that everyone is kept as safe as possible. The staff side of this is a catch-22, isn't it? Because you mentioned something that a lot of people might not pick up on. The key for us is trying to limit staff contact or new staff contact with the individuals we support, because for the individuals we support, they've been virtually restricted with social distancing and haven't been out of their homes in about a month at this point in time. So
Correct.
the only change variable has been staff coming in and coming out. And so our own staff represent a level of risk. So as much as they're compassionate, they're going even the extra mile to try to protect their people that they support even more so, correct?
That's correct. The direct supports community is a limited community, especially in DC. So they work other agencies. So that's where the potential threat comes when they work another agency. Somebody from that agency may have tested positive, and then we find out they've worked in the homes, and then that's when we have to do the contact tracing.
Yeah, you had mentioned that we have to do contact tracing because the reality is we now, especially in the last week, we've seen an uptick in people testing positive, both individuals we support as well as our team members. And it's still, it's not a large number, but given the acute needs that the folks we support have, we're pretty concerned, obviously, about their safety. And I believe we have a couple that are hospitalized, stable, but still hospitalized. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Yes. We have 2 people that are currently hospitalized, and they're actually doing well. And we're hoping one would be home by Friday.
Oh, excellent. Very good. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that's incredible.
Most people may think when they hear COVID, the first thing they think about is like, oh, I'm going to die. But more people are surviving opposed to dying. It's just a matter how good of a care that they get.
That's a great reminder. Thank you for that, because you're right. Statistically, that's true. And, we act out of an abundance of caution, and Steve and his team, had been working on, how do we keep people as safe as possible? And I think because we already have kind of rigor behind health and safety and all the precautions we take on a day in, day out basis, even though COVID certainly as a pandemic, shocked us, shocked everybody, at the same time, like you said, you were already in a routine of providing health and safety care, but it was just needing to learn additional protocols in order to take it to the next level. You've even managed to procure some tests now. So from what I understand, tests are going to be coming about 10 at a time to you and your team, so that you can be testing those that could be at the highest risk, which is a tremendous breakthrough for St. John's and for the provider community to be able to be doing that.
Yes. So I guess because, there's so many people being tested now, the Department of Health would like for nurses in, our setting, nursing homes, if they can test people themselves and send the test back out. So that's one of the benefits of being a nurse. So me and will be able to test some of the folks without having to send them out and, possibly exposure. So that's a big thing.
Increased risk. So Steve, just with a couple minutes left, I'm curious, how are you doing? You've got a huge weight on your shoulders. So, I know that you carry that with you day in, day out, but how are you de-stressing? What are you doing for fun and just to kick back during this time?
So right now I've been binge watching The Handmaid. So if you haven't seen it, check that out. It's pretty good.
I've heard it's very good. I've heard it's, now you'll appreciate this. Okay. So it took the pandemic and sheltering in place and social distancing to get my wife to do this, but we are now watching the Marvel Avengers series in chronological order. So she's on board. And we just finished watching our 7th one last night, which is the Avengers. So I've never seen her as hooked on something like this as anything, but it's pretty funny. But I will definitely add, it's Handmaid's Tale, is that correct?
Yes.
I'll definitely do that. So I'll check that out. Steve, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the people we support, on behalf of our supporters, our team. If it wasn't for you and your efforts, we'd be at much greater risk of people getting really, really, really sick. And I know you're doing everything in your power, and your team is doing everything in your power And you truly are a champion. Your team is champions in the crisis right now. And I'm just so very grateful for all that you're doing.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the nurses, Grace, Loon, Chi, Josephine, Elizabeth, Berlinda, Tony, and Shakirat. You know, we're all nurses. We've been working hard and diligent, trying to make sure we keep our people safe. And also thank you, Alan, for having our backs. So I know a lot of the times medical could be a very challenging in this arena, but we're getting through it. We're working as best as we can. So thanks for your support.
Of course, you deserve it, man. So hang in there. Stay safe, stay healthy, be well. All right.
All righty.
Take care.